Hello and welcome back to Learn Energy Healing. Today we're going to talk about healer's preparation. So setting up a room, making it welcoming for people, like in my other video, is part of preparation, of course. You want to make sure the room is clean, tidy, that all the blankets and pillows are nice and clean, ready for receiving someone, so that they're more open and relaxed for healing. Equally so, it's very important to prepare yourself. So very obviously, if your mind is wandering, there's something on your mind, or there's some sort of emotional thing coming up, then that may affect your concentration, it may affect your focus, and of course the energy that flows through you for the healing. So obviously working on yourself so that you are clear, focused, comfortable in your body makes it easier for you to do healing. We all have things within us we haven't worked on yet. We all have different traumas, different limiting beliefs, maybe aches and pains in our physical body, all sorts of different things going on a day-to-day basis that can distract us or make us resist energy moving through us. And that's consciously or subconsciously. A lot of people don't realize that a particular vibration of energy doesn't flow through them quite so easily when there's a certain energy block or limiting belief or whatever else may be in the energetic field. So the clearer you are, the easier it is in general to perform healing. Not impossible, but it does make it easier. So there have been times, myself, where something has come up because of the energy needed by that particular person I'm working on is coming through my body, and I haven't fully worked on that particular thing, whatever it might be, yet, and it may cause a healing in me at the same time. So healing can happen even if you're not fully clear in a certain aspect of life, and of course it does all the time, really. But it is still very useful to make sure you're nice and prepared for a healing. And especially if you're doing it often, like myself, so I'm a full-time healer, you obviously can't expect to be perfect each time you receive someone for healing. There's always something going on in our lives, there's always something coming up. So the healer's preparation really is time you set aside before someone comes to at least alleviate some of that, at least make you aware of an emotion or a thought coming up or a muscle ache, so that you can relax into it more and it not be so much of an issue before the appointment. The amount of healer's preparation you do depends a lot on how much healing you're doing, how much other stresses there are in your life. So it can vary a lot from person to person, but I do suggest, at least 10-15 minutes before a session that you do something. And of course, if you've got back-to-back people, make sure you do leave a bit of time in between so that you can clear anything that may have come up within you from the last appointment before the next one. Yes, and it can be quite a lot. You can actually need a lot of preparation, a lot of releasing after healing. If you do have a lot of people, and especially if it's not easy to release things in your environment due to other factors in your life, you might need to go out and spend a long time on the beach or walk in nature to clear things in between. So let's talk a bit about different things you can do. There isn't one set of things that you should do or have to do each time. Every healer is different. Every healer has a different thing going on within them. Every healer has different preferences to what works for them and what doesn't. And of course, it changes from day to day. So yes, it may well be that you might want to do something more active or something more peaceful and still. before a session, depending on what's going on. If you've got quite a hectic household, the rest of your life is quite busy and so on, maybe sitting down in a formal meditation, so you're stilling yourself before treating someone, might be better than, doing something more active like a walk in nature. So I'll give you some examples of what I do before sessions. It varies. Each morning I do like to meditate for 20 to 40 minutes. That sets me up nicely for the day, helps to still anything that's come up during sleep or from the last day. So that's a lovely way of starting, and I might meditate in between sessions as well, or just before a session, if I feel like I need some more stillness. So yes, any sort of formal meditation. I quite like counting my breath, so doing that form of vipassana, but I also like body scanning. So that's a form of vipassana that some people aren't that aware of. You can look up Goenka. He was a man who taught vipassana meditation. And there's, in fact, a vipassana center not far from where I live here, where they teach Goenka's teachings on his style of vipassana. So it's a body scanning technique. So I have written about this in my written blog on my website, but essentially you lie down, sit up, whatever's most comfortable, and you start at your toes, and you just gently feel what you can feel in your toes, and you work up your foot, your ankle, your calves, your knees, your thighs, your pelvis, your back, your abdomen, and so on, all the way up to the top of the head. And then once you get to the top, back down again. Not spending too long in any one area. You're not trying to force yourself to feel everything in every part of your body, but essentially you're just being aware of what you can feel, what you can't feel, what feels nice, what doesn't feel nice. Especially pay attention to what feels nice, because most people get stuck in what's wrong rather than what's working. And try and do that without judgment. It's a lovely way of energizing the body, opening up the different circuits in the body, opening up the different chakras, helping you sense better into your body. And obviously sensing better into your body can help with certain types of healing techniques. And in general, because we are quite empathic, us healers, we do quite often feel something in our body when we're working on someone else. Something may come up in our body, either in response to the healing energies coming through us, stimulating something to come to the surface to heal, or it might well be that we're feeling what we would feel as if we were in the person we're healing, if we were in their body. So being aware of your body before a session, I find, is very, very useful. But the main reason really is to learn to relax into the body. No matter what you sense or what you don't sense, you're learning to relax into the body and let it be. So you're learning to let the energy flow through your body more efficiently, which obviously can benefit healing. If the energies can come out your hands better, then it's more useful for healing. So that's the Vipassana technique. So the first one is just formal meditation, and then the body scanning type of Vipassana. Those are two common things I do. Sometimes, if I feel like at the moment there's a bit of a knot in my upper back muscles here from the gym and from climbing the other day as well, I might actually perform healing techniques on myself. So I might actually, so that that's not so distracting, I might actually get hold of that stuck energy, pull it out, throw it away, or use any other technique to heal that, as if, the same techniques that I taught in other videos that you can use on other people, you can very easily use on yourself too. So that's another thing I quite often do. And we can go into more detail about different techniques you can use in the future, because we are certainly not finished with different techniques. Another thing I quite often do is, because with healing you can be quite still for a lot of the day, especially with my work working via Skype over the computer, and I'm sitting down a lot of the day. Quite often I find getting up and moving around is very important. So on a lovely sunny day like this especially, going out for a walk, going out into the woods over there or the farmer's fields, or even just getting out into the garden, getting a bit of sun, breathing some fresh air, just moving around can be very, very useful to help me feel more comfortable in my body. If it's a bit cold outside, a bit wet and horrible, then I might do the Tai Chi moves, or Qigong moves, should I say. So, oh, you can't see my head there. Let's maybe go over here. So I'm not going to teach Qigong, of course, in this video, along with everything else I've talked about. But it's a lovely thing to at least get the fluids in the body moving and brush the aura as you're moving your hands. Just so you're feeling more comfortable in your body and not quite so sedentary and still. So the 3 swings are my favorite. So this kind of thing. You're slapping your body as well, slapping your aura. Hands are passing through the aura. And then this is the second swing. So yeah, very useful. So with me and my kidneys, there's a lot of people I can quite often feel their kidneys when I'm working on them. So sometimes I like to make sure that my kidneys are nice and clear and that I feel nice and energized and powerful, ready for the session. So the second swing I just showed there, very nice for just patting the kidneys and shifting energy through that. I'm not quite so good with this, the third movement here. It's essentially like this. That's better. So again, I can't teach you Qigong because those movements are very specific with different angles, and I know that third movement there I didn't do very well, but that's a very useful technique I use in between sessions to prepare. The last one I will talk about is something that I do sometimes use. It's something I know that they teach at the Barbara Brennan School. And it's especially useful if you do a lot of work via the chakras. And that is simply just to feel into, imagine in your mind as well, to image how each chakra is moving. So you can start with the base chakra here. Is it moving? Is energy moving in and out? Does it feel relaxed? Is it spinning clockwise, like I was showing you in an earlier video about how to use a pendulum to see how a chakra is moving? And just relax into it, feel into it, until it starts to open up and balance and start to spin clockwise, so that energy is moving through that chakra. Maybe you could need to use colors. So each chakra, again, depends on the model of the aura you're working from, because there's lots and lots of different opinions about how the chakras are and how the aura is and what they're named and so on and so on. But if you feel that red is useful for getting in touch with the base chakra, imagine red at that base, a nice clear bright red, and see if that helps, and just feel into how that chakra is. Is it starting to spin? Is it opening up? If you feel that you need a little bit more, maybe again a healing technique. Maybe if there's some stuck energy there, pick it up, throw it away, or use the allow technique. Use your hands if you need to, until it feels like it's opening up a little bit more. And then move on to the next one. So maybe if you are using the colours, which most colours people associate with each of the chakras, by the way, is what Barbara Brennan teaches, is the colours of each chakra on the emotional level only. So they're the colours associated with the emotional level only of each chakra, in her opinion, of course. So She says that the colours change depending on the density of the chakras that you are looking at. But again, I won't go into too much detail, but again, if those colours work for you, great. So the next colour most people associate with the second chakra, the sacral chakra, is orange. So again, use that colour. How does it feel? In your mind's eye, how is it spinning? Is it spinning the right way? Is it not? And again, relax into it. Let the energy do what it wants there until it feels like it starts to open. And then so on and so on and so on until you get to the top. That's a lovely way of preparing for a healing, especially if you're doing a lot of work on chakras. But it is useful for you too, because obviously the more your energy circuits and gateways are open, the easier it is for energy to flow through you. And that can take a bit of practice, actually, getting used to opening up each chakra. And of course, we can go into more detail in future videos with that. The last one I would say is the Hara line. So I know a lot of healers out there, a lot of psychics say that the Hara line is like a shortcut in spirituality. It's a way of very quickly aligning things and opening yourself up. So again, the Hara line is mentioned in different ways, in different models of the aura. It's mentioned different ways in different courses, different people who teach it. So the Hara line in the Barbara Brennan model is outside of the aura. It's not part of the auric dimension, you could say. So it's not something you can feel directly or see directly because it doesn't exist within that reality. It exists separate to it. So you can't feel it, you can't see it, but you can feel the effects of it. In other models, people say the Hara line is part of the aura system. And it's just a higher density part or version of the central power current. So your central power current, you can imagine, is a line from above your head going through your body very centrally. So it goes right through the body and it connects the ends of the chakras. So if you imagine that funnel shape, so if we do this chakra here and we've got a funnel shape here, the end of the funnel will be touching the central power current. So it's a line of energy that goes all the way through and out the top and out the bottom of the body, connecting all of the chakras. So feeling into the central power current or the Hara line, depending on your point of view. And just imagining that line, picturing it in your mind and trying to feel it. It should feel very spacious, it should feel very light. And if you're not feeling that lightness or spaciousness, then you're not really tuning into it. So it's a very useful technique. So you can just sit there and pay attention to that. And what you will notice is if you're doing it right and if you've practiced it enough, tuning into your Hara line will automatically start opening and balancing all of your chakras. It will automatically start helping to move the energy around your body better. So there we go. Lots and lots of different techniques. Lots of different things you can do. Some people like to go for a swim. Some people like to go for a shower because it's surprising how much water moving over the body can shift things in the aura. So washing yourself can be very, very useful. And yeah, depends a lot on where you live, of course, where you are, how you feel before the session. Yes, and on the point of showering, obviously always good healer preparation to make sure you are nice and clean before treating people. It can be very off-putting if you have smelly armpits or dirty clothes before you do a treatment. So an obvious thing. Okay, so lots of different ideas there to make sure you feel ready before a session. And if there's any more questions, please do email me or write in the comment section. Please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.